This isn't just another 30-minute commercial. This is the people behind the products, the innovators, the engineers, the entrepreneurs.
Scent thief, Mr. Russell.
This is DeerTech TV. Welcome to DeerTech TV. We may hunt whitetails in the fall, but that doesn't mean they don't matter in the off-season. Food plots are a great source of additional nutrition, but if you're not planting them in the late season as well, then your whitetail herd may be lacking the nutrients they need to make it through the winter. That's where Supplemental Feed steps in.
First, I want to talk about why do you want to supplemental feed your whitetails. There's definitely, no matter where you're from, if you're from the Midwest, Northeast, winter is our stress period. We don't really think about summer being a stress period because we got alfalfa fields, soybean fields, and normally, that stuff is green enough. It's all super high protein and the whitetails are eating it. Where in the South, in the summer, all their plants die off. A lot of them do because of the drought, Texas especially, and that's another stress period. So why you want a supplemental feed is you're trying to get those animals through that stress period. If you look at Wisconsin, for instance, our whitetails going into winter are probably very healthy. The does have a huge layer of fat on them, whatever. If you ever get a whitetail at the end of the season compared to October, say October 31st, you shoot a doe, and then you shoot one at the end of December or early January, the amount of fat on it is drastically different. So you can see, just how stressful winter is. What do you look for in a feed? A lot of people feed alfalfa up here, or hay if they can do it, or corn. Well, those things are okay. Corn's got carbs in it, so it keeps the whitetail alive, but it really is not going to do anything for their body. What they really need is that protein. A whitetail can digest, and it's up for, discussion. 16 to 20% protein is what they can actually digest. Anything higher than that, they're really not getting anything from, because it's going to pass right through their system. So you're looking for a feed in that range, and the Sportsman's Choice here 20 from Record Rack does exactly that. It's 20% protein. So it's on the high end, so they're getting the max amount of protein that they can get. It's got crude fat in it. Again, fat's important because it gives them that energy, that they're looking for, but then they have all the trace minerals in here in a protein pellet. So it's a great, great feed, if you're looking for year-round. Now, if I could, in the state of Wisconsin here, feed, I would have feeders out year-round. And why I would do that is, even if the deer has unlimited amount of soybeans or alfalfa or any of that, some days they're just not going to get enough of that protein, where if they're going to come in here, and a whitetail knows. It's interesting to watch them feed on a protein feeder because they don't camp out over that thing for days on end, like they would on corn. Normally if it's corn, a whitetail will sit down there with its head down and eat every kernel of corn that they possibly can until it's all gone. Where if there's a protein feeder, and we're just in Texas, and I watched this time and time again, a deer would come in, eat a little bit of protein, leave for a while, might come back, eat a little bit more protein, leave again. Their body knows exactly what they need and what they don't need. And therefore they're not eating too much of it, but they're eating just enough. The protein, what that's going to do for them, it's going to give them a healthier body, which normally leads to bigger racks, healthier, if it's a doe, better lactation for the fawns. I mean, the whole thing, you're going to just have a healthier deer herd. Check it out, Record Rack Sportsman's 20. It is a great feed for your whitetails if you're looking for a year-round protein source.
Coming up next, Brad Rux gets strategic with his food plots with Whitetail Institute. And later we head to Texas with outdoor writer Josh Honeycutt as he puts the new Axe crossbow from Carbon Express to the test. Stay tuned. DeerTech TV is brought to you by Scent Thief, Steal the Hunt. Record Rack, Serious Nutrition. Browning Trail Cameras, the best there is. Maverick Blinds, a lifetime of hunting. Tinks, America's #1 buck lure. And by Sportsman's Guide Buyers Club. Outfit your passion and save at www.sportsmansguide.com. For over 25 years, QAD has set the bar in arrow rest technology. Made in the USA and built with a lifetime warranty, the Ultra Rest gives you flawless operation guaranteed every time. When you pair the Ultra Rest with QAD's Exodus broadheads that feature top-of-the-market penetration and consistency, then you'll be crushing bones, not blades. You're watching DeerTech TV. Born in 1988, the Whitetail Institute has long been a staple in the outdoor community. They use their Alabama facility to bring us the food plot revolution and a subsequent 500% increase in average annual record book entries. Today, they still strive to lead the revolution with new and improved products, such as Imperial Whitetail Destination.
We're going to introduce you to another one of Whitetail Institute's products. This one's been around for a little while. It's called Destination. It's that blend of products, but this one is good for early season. It has the oats in it, but then it has winter peas in it. It has kale. It has radishes, which if you haven't planted radishes in the past, what I love about radishes is the tops continue to grow, where if it's any kind of turnip, basically when the turnip pops through, if whitetail, and they're not supposed to like them until they freeze, right? That's what everybody says. But up here in the Midwest, once they get that taste, or it must be acquired taste, because when you plant it the first year, and I'll give you a little history here, like the first year when you plant turnips, they might not touch it at all. You might have the best looking field and you feel like a total loser because the whitetails aren't gonna hit it. And it's because they really don't know what it is. They don't realize that it's a good food. Now, like when I planted food plots on my place, if I'm using any kind of turnips bulb-based, they actually start pounding them the minute they come through the ground. I mean, you'll see bites out of your turnips when they're golf ball size. You know, and I always like my turnips. I don't want to get them too big because they get kind of woody. So if you plant them too early, they're going to get huge, and then the whitetails really don't like them because they're probably not as nutritious. It's like anything. Perfect size, I always tell people anywhere from a baseball to softball size is what I like for my turnips. And then I just base my planting off of, you know, when I need to get that kind of growth. So up here in the Midwest, because we can get that early frost, especially in Wisconsin, early September. I mean, even by Labor Day, sometimes it's cold enough for a frost. I always try to get my food plots either in the ground or ready to go in, but by the 1st of August. So a week before, a week after, that's when I plant. Further you go down south, it's going to be later and later. Again, what's great about these blended products like Destination is it gives a whitetail a variety of different products, a lot of different foods that they like. Some deer might want to eat oats, they're going to go to this. Some deer might like winter peas, which by the way, up here in the Midwest is like candy to a whitetail. I've already had a plot of this, and literally they've eaten every one of the winter peas out of there. You could go through it and you would swear it didn't grow if you didn't have a protective cage. And why I'm going to bring up a protective cage is you know, early in my years, I thought some of the plants weren't growing or they weren't growing as well. And what it is a lot of these products take browse pressure so well that you don't realize how much they're eating. And then you put a little area which is caged in, fenced in, so the whitetail can't see it. And your growth, a lot of times, is up to a foot higher, you know, where it's not getting browse versus what it is. Just gives you, the land manager, a good idea of how much the whitetails are using your product. It also allows you to see, you know, to know that in your soil, all the products are really growing. Because in that cage, I'll find my winter peas, where if I'm looking for winter peas anyplace else, you just don't see them. Check out Whitetail Institute. They got a wealth of different products. Destination is definitely one of my favorites. Like I said, I love the radishes because radishes continue to grow. Compared to a turnip, once they eat the leaves off the turnip, it doesn't form more leaves, where a radish will continue to grow, it'll continue to get more leaves. It also gives you a long tap root, so it goes down, so you don't have to worry a lot about moisture. But anyway, check it out, Whitetail Institute Destination.
Don't go away. Up next, we're seeing what Carbon Express has cooked up in the world of crossbows. Then we're tagging along with outdoor writer Josh Honeycutt as he treks after some sunbathing Texas axis bucks. You're watching DeerTech TV. When you hear Carbon Express, you probably think of the power-packed arrows that they're known for. But what might be news to you is that they don't stop at just producing arrows. They have an entire lineup of archery products to fit every bow hunter's needs, and not just accessories. The Axe 405 crossbow is one of their most prized creations and delivers an unparalleled shooting experience. Weighing in at an impressive 9.5 pounds and delivering a massive punch at 405 feet per second, this bow is sure to end your hunt in a knockout.
So I'd like to talk a little bit about crossbows today. You know, crossbows with Carbon Express, we've been in that business well over a decade. And when Farah and I purchased Carbon Express in 2017, we really got deep into crossbows, understanding everything from the production side of things, safety, how they operate, and actually how to make them better. There's been a lot of advancements in crossbows in the last 5 years, and we still thought there was some room for improvement. And for us, it was really, number one, safety. How can someone safely and simply decock a crossbow? The simple part is important because some of them are pretty complicated, and you have to have some dexterity and you have to remember what to do. So we decided, let's go as simple as possible. So with the Axe 405, we started out with a very quiet crank. It's a one-way crank. So when you do actually cock it and decock it, you don't hear it. And that's really important because it is a bit quieter than others out there. You will get actually a second shot. So if it's a clean miss and the animal doesn't know where you're from, it'll allow you to quietly crank it and get a second bolt in. The other thing to notice is I'm stopping. Now I'm going backwards. And I can let it go at any point in the stroke. So whether I'm cocking it or decocking it, number one, it's quiet. It's safe because I'm not holding tension or pressure on the arm like most of the other crossbows that are out there. The other thing we try to do is again, make things simple. So in terms of understanding, is my bolt carriage engaged? We did an audible 2-click system. And the reason for that is, again, most of the bolts, when you put them in the crossbow, it's up to the user to understand, am I seated or not, because there's no audible click. And typically they're an open knock, and so it's just resting against it, and you have to make sure that it's firmly resting against it. So with ours, because we are the designer and the maker of both the crossbow and the bolts, it was easy for us to incorporate that extra bit of safety so the consumer knows, yes, 2 clicks, I'm ready to cock and decock, and 1 click for the bolt to go in.
You'll hear it snap on the string, and now we're ready to go.
All right, so we we spent the morning hunting elsewhere, but on our way back to the lodge, we saw a group of axis deer, you know, off in the distance. So there's 4 bucks, 3 of them's velvet, 1 of them's hardhorn. And I think, you know, we're going to try to ease up to them. We're going to try to stalk them. They were kind of, you know, settled down whenever we first spotted them, and they were still that way when we left. So we're going to ease up here, try to get to where we last saw them. We've got them marked on hunt stand where we think they were, and we're just going to try to stay behind them if we have to. Hopefully they're bedded and we can just get a shot right off the bat, but if not, we'll just stay behind them until we finally catch a break. But who knows? We'll see what happens.
Now I'd like to talk about a couple of the fun features around the Axe 405.
One of the most elusive creatures in Texas, in my opinion.
DeerTech TV is brought to you by Browning Firearms, the best there is. Whitetail Institute, research equals results. Outdoor Edges game processing sets to do it yourself and save. Elite Archery, the world's most shootable bow. ScentLock, proven deadly. And by Quiet Cat, the most capable hunting e-bike on the planet, where the road ends, the adventure begins. You may think you learned everything there is to know about the Axe 405 crossbow before the commercial break, but this compact bow is the gift that keeps giving.
Now I'd like to talk about a couple of the fun features around the Axe 405. So number one is 405. What's that stand for? Well, it's 405 feet a second. Why is that important? There is no standard in the crossbow market for speed ratings. And what you'll find is if a lot of the crossbows that are out there that you buy, you have to buy additional bolts or different bolts to get to the speeds that are advertised. Ours, the 405, we test every single one in our facility in Wisconsin. If it doesn't shoot 405, it doesn't go out the door. So one final safety thing about the Axe 405 is the adjustable foot stirrup. So again, back to ease of use, slides out, that acts as a stirrup for your foot, or when you're in a tight space, could actually allow you to set it up on something hard to shoot from, and it keeps your bolt, when it's in there with the broadhead on it, away from anything to interfere with it. We at Fairdyne are hunters and shooters. We have a big engineering team, and our goal is to make products better and safer for our consumers. And that's what we believe we've done here with the Axe 405.
Smacked a stud. Couldn't have gone far.
They were, all 3 of them were bedded right there. We were right there, and we shot him right there. So we were spanning out looking, and I think you just saw him right up there.
He found him. He didn't go as far as I guess he went a little further than I expected him to, but.
I didn't think he'd be past the road.
Oh, he was right there though. Dude.
Smoked him.
That's awesome.
Hands on him. Think about that for your first.
That's pretty, man. That's pretty.
One of the most elusive creatures in Texas, in my opinion.
Another week, another successful hunt. Thanks for watching DeerTech TV.
Set these, Mr. Russell.